Hello everybody, welcome to Crafty Soup. Today I have for you the unboxing of the April 2022 SCT Sampler Kit. And if you've ever seen my unboxings before, you know I always do a project, so stick around for that as well. Here's what the kits look like when they come in the mail. As the name implies, they are samples of supplies from current manufacturers, as well as some reusable goodies that are always in here. For the year of 2022, SCT is now including dies that match the theme word. So this card, as you can see, has a theme word on it, and the back of the card will list all the supplies that are included in the kit, but SCT provides the theme word die and the shadow that goes with that word, and so I am just loving these monthly word dies. It's building up my collection of word dies, and it's making me really happy. Now, a lot of people would use those for card making, and I do that as well, but today I will have all of these supplies used on a layout. So the other reusable item that we usually get in a monthly kit is a stamp set, and this time we have some daffodils from Gina K, and I will use that as well on my layout today, so be sure to check that out. Now I'm going to separate out the two separate manufacturers, and that's pretty typical to get two partial packs of items from separate manufacturers. And this line right here is from Photoplay and is their Easter line. But as you can see, many of the papers will at least have a B-side that is not Easter themed. That paper was particularly Easter themed, so that one's going to be a little harder for me to use since I don't do a lot of Easter scrapbooking. But like I said, most of the papers have the other sides that I can easily use, and I do really like that chick print, even though it's going to be a little harder for me to use. I think it's super cute, and I think the eggs are sweet, and I think I would be able to use those as well. And so that is a look at the pattern papers from the Photoplay collection. And as I'm sorting through these here, I am kind of separating out for you what is really themed. That's the two papers on the top right. And the other papers have more general uses to them. So always keep in mind that if your kit comes with specifically holiday themed items that you don't celebrate or that you won't use, look to see how you can be flexible with these products. And then the next collection comes from Echo Park, and I think this collection is called Everyday. I'll pop that up on the screen if I'm wrong. And included with this sampling, we have a 4x6 journal card and previously two 3x4 journaling cards, as well as the typical 6x6 pattern papers. And I am in love with those cameras. Oh my goodness. I love the colors in this collection, and bees. Bees are quickly becoming a really favorite icon of mine. I'm loving it. I like the scale of the rainbows on that print. It's really a fun scale to use for both card making and scrapbooking. So that is really nice. This plaid just has my heart. I love the colors in this line. I love the navy blue here with those pops of colors. I'm loving everything about this line. And in fact, I recently bought the collection pack. So this is just going to add to what I've already got. So I am off to start this project for you now that we've had a look at all the supplies that are in this kit. I pulled out my story binder because I wasn't quite sure where I wanted to go. I've already scrapbooked Easter from last year, and I haven't gotten to printing photos from Easter from this year. And so I went through my story binder and grabbed a story from last summer about when the mask mandates were relaxed around where I live, and we were finally able to go sit outside at a coffee shop and have a little bit of breakfast and then go on an adventure. And we'd found this brand new park that we'd never been to despite having lived here for 19 years. I was surprised that we were able to find something new to go adventuring on. And I have these photos here of these critters that we saw at this park. There's a rabbit, which fits with the Easter theme, and these little sand millipedes, centipedes. I'm not quite sure what they are, but these crazy little critters were all over the sand at this park, and so that was interesting. Now, because I have so many photos, I am going to split this into a double page layout, and I really got this idea that I wanted to use strips of pattern paper. Now, going across a double page layout with 6x6 papers is a little difficult, and while you can make it work, I decided to just do the corners. So I started off with that little rainbow print, and I cut straight through the middle of the rainbow print, and then I cut off a strip on one side and on the other side, and that's going to allow my rainbows to stay upright between the left side and the right side. And then I'm just filling in the rest of these strips with the other pattern papers, but I knew I wanted to use that word lovely as part of this element strip. Now I was hoping to go with a tone on tone look with that, but I didn't have any more of this color of cardstock. So I decided to go ahead and cut it out of white. And then I'm also cutting it out of the plaid for my title. And I cut a couple of different versions because I wasn't sure. Because it is plaid, you could get more white in your cut, or in this case, more pink in your cut. And I wasn't sure which version I wanted to use. So once I decided, I just used the second piece and some other white die cuts to stack them up and create a lot of texture and dimension for my title. And so I've got that going on over there. And then I use these other white die cuts as an element to these stripes. So I'm going to make one of those words fit so you can read the whole word. And then with another of the die cut elements, I'm going to clip it and use one side of the word and then the other side of the word to help fill in this row of sentiments there. So it adds texture. But if you pay close enough attention, it also adds more of that word and the mood there. I think that's a nice subtle way to use die cuts to add a little bit more interest to things. And die cut sentiments don't just have to be for cards. They can add background, texture, and mood to layouts. All right, I did pull out, I have a separate die set from Photoplay, and since we've got Photoplay in our kit this month, I decided to go ahead and use their die. And I die cut the word day because my whole title is going to read Lovely Day. And at first I thought I wanted to use that Dance in the Wildflowers phrase, but it was a little too big for the layout style that I had going on. So I did create my own title with the die cuts and then those extra letters. And any paper that I used to die cut, besides the plain solid white, it all came from the kit. And then down here, I'm using some tone-on-tone stamping. I forgot to prep my stamp the first time around, so it wasn't quite as dark. And then after prepping, I showed you there that you can get a much better stamp. So I am stamping just a very subtle border along the bottom of this layout, and I am spanning it across both pages for continuity. And that is a nice way to use stamps that, again, they're intended for making cards, but you don't have to use them that way. So you can think about broader uses of these supplies that come in your kits. Since I love that photo paper or the camera paper print so much, I wanted to incorporate it on this layout. So I'm going to use that just as a little border to my focal photo on the right-hand side of the page, and a little bit of border later on to the focal photo on the left-hand side of my page. And that's just another element that helps tie all of these pieces together. And then a little while ago, you saw me cut apart some of the pattern paper. On the back side, there were these clouds. So I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut out just a few clouds to add as embellishments. Most of the embellishments in my kit this month didn't quite fit with the theme that I was going on. So I'm going to go ahead and make my own embellishments. And here's where you can see me working on that other camera print for the other side. So anyway, back to these clouds. I am leaving some of them flat, and I will pop up a couple of them on some foam dots. And it really doesn't take very much to just add a little bit of something to this layout. And once I get all of my photos in place, I decide that it really does need some more elements here. And so I go about creating my own little tags to add to this layout. And there you saw me, they were just a little too big, so I did cut them down a little bit. And I like to, when I'm making tags, I like to give them a little more pizzazz by adding a little topper to the tag that is a separate pattern with some contrast to it. And then I will use these tags for a little bit of journaling to kind of explain both of those animals down there. And then a little bit of a tag that is going to have the name of the park, since that is a big part of the story, is finding this new park here. And then the other side of the layout will have just general journaling about the day. And you can see I have a little bit of scratch paper there to kind of mask off part of my layout so that my journaling lines don't overlap any of those elements. Now for these tags, I am going to print my journaling on just a plain piece of white paper. And then I'm going to take my journaling parts and use some some removable adhesive, and I'm going to stick them right over the top of where I think those journaling lines will fit onto those elements. And then I'm going to rerun this through my printer. You've maybe seen this technique before, but if you haven't, I just wanted to explain it all. Now, I've never ever had these pieces pop loose and get jammed in my printer at all. It's possible, so think about using this with caution, but I've never had it happen. As long as you have a strong enough adhesive, you really should be good to go. And here's what they look like when I bring them back out of my printer. And that is going to be the bulk of my layout. I am going to add a few little bits and pieces here. I do pull out my date stamp because I'm really trying to date my layouts more consistently, because I've been having challenges with that lately. And because my date stamp also has a few phrases on it, I was looking at them and going, oh, some of those phrases could work. So I decided to just stamp a few little phrases here and there around my photos. And then I added some of the enamel dots that came in the kit to emphasize those phrases just a little bit more. And that completes my layout. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you got something helpful out of it, I really would appreciate a thumbs up because that does help my channel. And I will be back on Friday with another video. As of yet undecided, I'm hoping that I can get the bigger plan in place, but I don't want to make any promises at this point. So do come back and join me on Friday for some crafty inspiration. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.